Hey, what's going on? G'day guys, welcome back. Another video. Let's get excited, let's get into it, let's do something, let's build a Sopwith Camel. I snuck away and did a bit of work when you guys weren't watching. This is where we're up to. Okay, as I come in this morning, turn the lights on. There's my wing struts there, ready to go. Got the bottom right hand wing up to ready for colour. Obviously it needs a sand, bit of love. Then I've completed the two ailerons. These may be stuck to the bench, just slightly. Two ailerons up to glue stage, complete. Here's the other one. So I've got those done. Today, hopefully, I'll get those couple of coats of grey onto them, primer, as I call it. It's nice to have those done. Then I've got one wing left to do, the big guy. We'll get onto that possibly today. Also, my iron blew up. Old faithful iron. So this guy here just stopped working, so I pulled it apart, you know, twisting wires and having a look at anything obvious, ran the multimeter over it. End of the day, 240 volts. In Australia, that'll kill you. Well, 240 volts anywhere in the world will kill you probably. I notice overseas and that people don't seem to worry so much about, you know, power. But 240 volts in Australia, if you muck with it too much, it'll send you to your maker. So that one is going to go in the bin. Not worth mucking around too much more with that. And thanks to Alex, I got this one a while back. Had it in the cupboard for exactly this, you know, didn't want it to hold me up. This one's actually nice. It's got a brand new footing on there when I get the glue off it. And two, it's nice, it's a lot lighter. Good old Turnigy, so it's from Hobby King. It was nice to have that in the cupboard so I can continue on. I've got one more wing to go, hopefully that'll last. And we'll get into this today. Alright, coat of grey. I've got a few bubbles, persistent bubbles in the trailing edge. I've used the heat gun, but I'll let that dry and whack it with the iron. Two coats of grey on the top surface, sanded. I've just dusted it off with a wet rag. About to flip the wing over. This will be ready to, and I'll sand the bottom of this wing. I think I'll wait a bit until I get the ailerons. Oh. So this is what happens, guys. Look at this, missed a hole. How could you possibly miss that? But anyway, I have. So missed the whole section there. And I'll paint the ailerons with this, do them all together. Be a bit more efficient, I think. Righto, last wing is on the table. Two ailerons getting primer. Other wings ready to paint. Let's do some tin tapping and we'll cover this. Got a lock wire, I'll tension up the cables, lock wire the cables, and lay some fabric. Two ailerons, one wing, primed, ready for colour. Now for the last time, I'm going to go over this wing now, drill all the holes in every rib, deburr, sand, and then this guy's ready for covering. Everything's locked up. I use the spy wrap and then wrap it in masking tape. It just sort of holds it together nicely, I think. Inspected everything, everything's split pinned, cable's ready to go. The cable's positioned here so that I can pull it out, theoretically. So let's cover this guy. Right, all the holes drilled one side. Just cutting in with my linen coloured paint. Get to know the bits you need to cut in around, I guess. Now I'll roll on a first coat of linen colour, double check, triple check on the bottom of the wing, bottom of the aileron. Horns poke out the bottom on the bottom wing, they poke out the top on the top wing. White, 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 or linen. Okay, back in this morning, on my second coffee this morning. Where are we up to? I drilled all these holes yesterday, then I started socialising. It's raining today, so I've learnt my lesson. No good can come of trying to work flat out in the rain. So I'm going to do a few jobs. I've just tidied up with the cruiser on charge. I like to keep the battery on trickle charge, keep it honky-dory. I built a, this is what I'm talking about, batteries. Myself and a friend got a little trolley there with a 12-volt battery, stopped cranking the patrol in the car park, charged it up okay, and 2 sets of jumper leads all on a trolley ready to go, just for jump starts, etc. if needed. Yeah, aircraft's on trickle charge. Also that jump start trolley, I'll probably need it when the time comes to do engine runs on the Camel. Got my firewall parts here ready to go. What I'm going to do today is not rush it, as you can probably hear the rain. I'll give this a good sand. That's had 1 coat of the linen colour. It looks speckledy, but it's smooth, which is fine. So I'll sand it, and you can see the difference there. It's very hard to see the tapes now, as opposed to with the grey, which highlights all the defects. So I might get 1 coat of linen colour on there. I don't really want to waste too much paint. I'm at the bottom of my gallon tin or 4 litre tin. It looks like I'm probably going to have to go and buy I'm about 1 litre or 2 short, I reckon. And paint's getting pretty expensive. But anyway, it's going to take what it takes, I guess. I've got enough to do these 3, but I've got a whole wing to do. Just looking for bubbles. I use the heat gun on these, and it's really good I got the confidence like around the tips and on that front face, just melt it down with the heat gun. So yeah, like I said, I'll sand these today, maybe put 1 coat of paint, or maybe not even paint at all, because it's just not going to dry today in a hurry, and save that for a better day. Having said that, the glue's not going to go much better, but I can lay the glue and use the heat gun to set the glue and then attach the fabric. Do it that way. Got a few visitors coming today, I think. Word's out that I'm building a Camel, so I get quite a few visitors. That's fine. People just love aviation. Okay, marked out what are we on now? The top side. I'll drill these holes out, deburr, bandage it up, lay some glue, get ready for covering. It's nice, guys. I'm starting to use things for the last time. My little 3s and 2.5 inch gauges. I'll throw those, well, aside for now, but I think I've used them for the last time. 1 final drill of a wing, and that'll be all the rib stitching done too, all the holes. Getting close to finishing up the covering. Don't talk too soon, just keep pushing on. Okay, just going through and bandaging everything up. Looks like the emergency ward. Just on here, it's only like 3 rivets, but I just run a full bandage because you'll see that in the finished product, rather than do just little spot taping jobs. So I'm going to run all those down, bandage there, flip it over, do the same on the other side. It's It's just a matter of sort of trying to keep it neat and wrinkle free. It takes a bit of time, but you sort of get the feel for it. You're just trying to create a soft edge for your fabric, especially on corners like down here. It is surprising what you can hide. You can be pretty rough with what's underneath, and cover it up with the tape. And depends how bits like this I'm not too worried about, just here. You know, you can trim it with a razor blade, but don't forget that's going to have the wing root covering, the top skin covering, and then a 4-inch tape. So it's going to have 3 or 4 bits of fabric over the top of that, and then a panel. It's got a metal panel that goes over the top. So you just work your way through it all. Going well. Right, fabric on the bottom of the last wing. Just going around, gluing down the perimeter. I might sound a bit ho-hum because it is a bit ho-hum, to be honest, but that's okay. Slow and steady, don't rush it. Get a nice job on this last wing. I'm also, because I'm now the experienced dude in the hangar, predicting where all my cuts will go. So you can see there I've brushed on a thin coat of glue so I can trim the edge. Trim all the way around once that dries. Once again, it's a slow old day weather-wise down here. Trim the root. The important thing is you want the glue to dry nicely before you attempt to put a pre-shrink on. Trailing edge. It's all around the perimeter. You can see here I've just guessed a 45 and a triangle to go onto that rib. If it's not quite right, you can work it out. More than halfway to fold down. I'll have to recover the hinges in there at some stage, and the tip is all on nice. So I'm just going to let that set up nicely, give it plenty of time today, and yeah, I'll probably flip it over, or trim it off, flip it over, tuck all the edges down nicely. It does go pretty quick, this process. It's just huge area, but it turns out nice. Yeah, just a big surface compared to the ailerons. Like I said before, the ailerons is just as much work as the wing. I've been going, I checked my diary, 5 months. 5 months ago I started the covering. So it's taken me 5 months, and I'll probably work a bit longer, not necessarily harder. I spend a lot of time out here, Monday to Fridays, 9 till 3. So I'm fortunate to get all that time. So if you are thinking of taking on one of these and you're just going to do it of an evening, it's going to take you a lot longer in calendar time. So there you go. Bottom wing. So I've got the fabric down nicely. This is different fabric. So this is my fabric now that I've purchased. So I just need to learn the fabric, if that makes sense. I don't want to burn a hole in it. I can feel a few creases there, but I've got the pre-shrink to 250. 250 I've shrunk that down to. It's a new morning. I've just got to come in, I've got to finish the tip off. Bit of a bugger, this curve, but it goes down. Just plenty of heat and plenty of stretching. Glue that on. In the meantime, I need to give these a sand. Sort of rushing a bit yesterday. I got 2 coats on, still a bit speckledy. 1, maybe 2 more coats, or should I say 2, maybe 1 more coat. So take my time, give it a sand, hopefully get the 2 coats on today. It'll work out well actually. So a session there today would be I'll sand it, paint it, let that dry, then hopefully I don't have to sand too much, and then put the final coat on. The wing actually this wing looks like it's got a bit of undercamber to me, but probably has actually. It's probably sucked in a bit. Yeah. Anyway, running low on paint. Doesn't matter, you just buy some more paint, but they sort of get you. almost cheaper to buy 4 litres. I only need about another litre. Then we'll get onto this today. Then we'll tape this up, pop the rivets, and then start with all the tapes for the final time, guys, for the final time. Beautiful. Irons are all down. Flip it over. We'll do 3 irons on the other side. So 3 laps I do, let it cool down between. This acts as a big heat sink on the leading edge, and then you got to be careful. You get different value, I guess, out of the iron. So 320 I use. 320 on here is you need to really crank it up, whereas on there you got to be careful. But I just get a nice, I don't know, get a feel for it. I went and checked the other wing, just as long as it's not daggy, I guess. You can sort of, I don't know if the video will show it, you get a couple of little like creases in a shirt, or just, you can't feel them, but you can see where the fabric hasn't been touched, if you like. You can see another one just here. So just going over. You do have to be careful though, you can pull the wing out of rig, if that makes sense. So we'll get this iron down, then I probably need to, I've got a bit going on. Probably too much going on at once, to be honest, but I'm not standing around, that's for sure. Give these a sand, a bit of love, because they're getting close, and I'll get a coat of paint on those. So I just iron it down. I just keep the iron moving. I'm at 320, but don't forget that's only on a certain part of the iron. Some parts of the iron are down as low as 250, and just let it glide over each bay on top of the ribs, rivet heads. I want to touch every, trying to concentrate here and not stop. I want to, because when the thermostat kicks in, sort of, that's the danger time, I guess, with a $7 iron. It means it's had a $4 calibration probably. So I know I've got my iron, trusty old iron set. Just glide over. I'm just keeping a track of where I've gone. I use the spar here as the rear bit, and then I can reach from the front just to make sure that I've done every square inch. And I was tempted to make up a frame so I could test it to destruction. I don't like talking about this when I'm actually doing the job, but just keep the iron moving. I don't want to loiter too long in one spot. You can over the metal, that's fine, but not on the open bays. So I just go through, like I said, touch every square inch at least 3 times. I go over this, and then we'll call that done. If you do start to see extra wrinkles appear, it means the frames, you're bending the frame. But because I've got the bottoms, or the top surface, the underneath, at the moment, that's sort of pre-shrunk. The wing can't go too far. If it was a model aircraft, you'd do both sides at once, I guess, because of the complexity of this thing. Just do one side. But the top surface, what I'm trying to say, the top surface is stopping it from warping too far. Not forgetting the edge. And just get all the fabric up to speed. Nice. I'll do the leading edge now, and we'll flip it over and do 3 irons on the, sorry, that'll be the bottom of the wing. So my ring's glued on. You do whatever you have to do to get them to stick. Drain holes, rivets are in, lines are drawn. Time to harvest all these rivets. It's funny doing this last wing. I'm just cutting the tapes now, looking at my roll. I've got another whole roll in the cupboard, but I keep thinking, have I got enough tapes in that left for the next wing? But this is the last one, so it doesn't really matter. I'm sure I've got enough with another whole roll. So yeah, but it's just sort of to let you know that it plays on your mind. For months I've been thinking, have I got enough to do the top wing, the next wing, and the next wing? Don't run out of tape. Do I need to order more stuff? I think I've got enough stuff to see me through to the finish now, which is good. So I've pulled all the rivets. Now I'll lay some tapes. All right, that's 5 coats of linen colour on there. It's time to mask up and flip it over. 5 coats of green. I'll do the ailerons at the same time. This will pay off in the long run because then I've just got the one wing left to go. So, got all my tapes ready and my ruler, and we'll go through and mask this up. Happy with that, the way that's turned out. Nice. I've had a quick look where the roundel is going to go. I think from memory on the top wing, I was up 4 rivets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, believe it or not, just there. Which brings it out. So the consideration is, why not miss this tape? So just miss it, rather than mask up over the tape and the rivets. But also, what I want to try and do is, let's try and catch both those panels blue, and both these probably white. I want to try and avoid, the line going through the panel, because then I've got to paint a panel that'll be half and half, like a yin yang, but the panel's probably going to turn. So just make the panel ambidextrous. Hopefully there'll be 2 white ones, 2 blue ones. That's what I'm aiming for. Run this right round, mask it all up. Humid day, paint's not going to go off, but we'll get stuck into it. Righto, long weekend down here, so going to go fishing. Going to call it quits there. I've got all the rivets in. Last side of all the wings. I've marked it out for my tapes. I've still got to mark out the leading edge and trailing edge tapes. I'll do that now. Just before I go home, I'm going to put on the bias tape on the wingtip, because that's the hardest one. I'll get that on, so that's done. Good time to cure. Both ailerons, 2 coats of green. We're looking at a coat of about 4 coats. Not sure if you can see the speckledy bit there. So you've got about 75% coverage, but flat, nice and flat, beautiful. I'm using the furry rollers now, like the lamb's wool. Seems to work a lot better. You get a little bit of texture, but the paint goes a lot further on the roller. You can load the roller up a lot more than the wing. Haven't had a good look at her, but still a bit green, but it's going well. Let that dry. Another 2 coats, I reckon. I'll see that one done. And we've got some roundels to do. And that's about it, really. Then they'll go in the rack. I've got the spare wing rack here. Bottom wing's there. Tent will come down and we'll get serious. All right, guys. Been a while between movies, but I've been working pretty hard, as you can hopefully see the results. Almost on top of the wings. A bit more, probably another week or 2, and I'll have the wings done, roundels done on the bottom of the wings, and the ailerons complete, the horns and that sort of thing. That'll be all the painting. Lo and behold, I've used, what have I used? A gallon of grey, I'm in Australia, 4 litres of grey, 4 litres of green, that's in front of me here, 4 litres of the linen colour, a litre of blue, litre of red, 2 litres of white, I think, so far. I'm out of green, I'm out of linen, I've got 1 wing to go. It's cheaper to buy 4 litres, as everyone knows, but I only need about 1 litre or 2 litres, but they sort of get you. So I'll go and buy some more paint. This one's still got a fair bit of work to go. This wing in front of me. All the tapes, the wash, 2 coats of grey, 5 coats of colour, all the masking up, roundels on the bottom. But we'll get there, going well. Thanks for watching, see you on the next one.